All right, on today's episode of Python Papi, we're back inside our Tensorflow course, and we did start adding some code to our module that we're in right now, which is the feature extraction. First, let's do some light reading, and then I'll show you exactly what kind of code we implemented. So the model we will be looking at is the EfficientNet V4. We are using this one because it has a slightly lower number of parameters compared to the ResNet 50, and it outperforms the ResNet 50 by a very large margin. So we're going to pick this EfficientNet V4, and if there's one thing we can do with TensorFlow is we can simply use the models without having to code them out from scratch. We can copy and paste the code directly from the documentation. So let me show you exactly what we did. So here's the code we copy and pasted right from the documentation, and we made some modifications to it. You can see this was the default is going to be true for the top, but we're not going to use the top, so we set it to false. Then the weights equals ImageNet. We're going to leave the same because it's something that we're going to leave as is. The input tensor we're not going to use, so we comment that out. The input shape we configure to our specific size, which is the image size configuration. I can show you what that looks like up here and why we actually used the way we used it. You can see here if I can find it, 1 second. Here's our configurations at. Oh, yeah, here we go. 1 second, moved up too far. So you can see our configurations here are set. Our image size is set to 256. So with the configuration, we get this put configuration and then pass in parameters image size, and it automatically knows what the size our image is. So that's why we did it the way we did it. So basically, we're saying our image size is 256 by 256. And what was next after that? Next after that, we're not using anything else from here. The pooling we're going to use, but we're not going to specify it here. We're going to specify it in our next layer. So I'm just going to show you our next layer. That's going to be this one here. And this is our classification layer. So you can see here, we're going to be using the global average pooling 2D for this one. And in this one here, we have the input shape. We did the same thing for the image size. It's going to be 256 by 256. And you can see here this backbone. This backbone is actually this right here. So we set our EfficientNet to this variable backbone. And then we actually set backbone trainable equals false. That means we want to freeze it. Now by freezing it, we'll be locking it in a place where we can't update the weights. So the weights are going to stay the same while we're training. That's what a freeze is. So we put a freeze on it. As you can see here, backbone.trainable equals false, meaning we froze it. So it's not going to be able to update the weights while we're training. And then we actually pass this parameter backbone in its frozen state to the sequential model here. So basically that's what we did this morning. I'm going to run it overnight and show you exactly what we get. But of course, I will have updates for you tomorrow. But for now, this is the Python Papi. You guys stay Gucci.